أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. Dear brothers and sisters, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, and welcome to Youth Forum with me, the host SYED WAFIQ Mahdi, and alongside me the three usual guests, SYED Zaykham Hussain,
Assalamu alaikum,
SYED Haziq Abidi,
Assalamu alaikum,
and SYED Ja'far Al-Hashimi.
Assalamu alaikum.
Now today's topic is about lying, but before we do move on to the topic, Brother Zaykham has the ayah of the week.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم إنما يفتر الكذب الذين لا يؤمنون بآيات الله وأولئك هم الكاذبون. Only those fabricate lies who do not believe in the signs of Allah, and it is they who are the liars.
MashaAllah, MashaAllah. And as I said before, today's topic is about lying, and Brother Haziq, you have some hadith about...
Yes, hadith of the week is from the Prophet ﷺ. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Beware of lying, for lying leads to wickedness, and wickedness leads to fire of hell. A man may lie and strive hard in lying until he is recorded with Allah as a liar. You should be truthful, for truthfulness leads to righteousness, and righteousness leads to paradise. A man may speak truth and strive hard in speaking truth until he is recorded with Allah as a truthful person.
MashaAllah, MashaAllah,
MashaAllah. So lying is so common nowadays, especially amongst the youth. So Brother Zaykham, why is it so common?
The reason why it is so common is because we can find easy reasons to lie all the time. I have several reasons here which say to please other people, which is probably one of the most common reasons, is that we don't find satisfaction within our own personality, our own identity, that we don't even trust ourselves. Therefore we lie and we create these lies about us so we can seem decent to other people. It also says to avoid, long conversations and, etc., etc. Also, the biggest reason which I can probably find, especially when I was a kid, when we used to get in trouble, is to save your own face, to evade punishment. And even on the Day of Judgment, Allah Himself says that people will be lying even though we are the ones who saw them. I remember as a kid, when we were in primary school, the teachers used to say, even in high school, they would say, Zaykham, why did you do that? Or WAFIQ, why did you do that? And we'd be like, we didn't do it. But they know, they saw it with their own eyes. But because we wanted to evade the punishment, we wanted to save our own reputation, we would reply by saying, oh no, we didn't do it.
Yeah, it's like to add on it, it's like a psychological state where you feel as if you need to lie to make yourself feel better if you have a low self-esteem.
And to boost your self-esteem.
Yeah, it says here also to boost your self-esteem, to prove a point. People lie in debates, which is a big thing as well.
Sometimes people lie to hide something, and that's why you see them nervous, and you see some unique symptoms like rising adrenaline, like an adrenaline rush, other unique symptoms and signs. So that's how people detect whether people are lying or not.
It's a false, sense of hope or happiness when people think that when they lie, they don't show any of these symptoms. It just shows that you're so oblivious to the fact that you don't even see your own sins anymore.
MashaAllah. So Ja'far, what is the Islamic view of lying?
Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Like we said before, it's trying to hide something, and it's trying to lie to someone, say false things. So obviously we know that lying is haram. So some scientists say it's part of everyday social life, but I think that's wrong. They're just giving an excuse to lie. White lies, joking, all these kinds of lies are all part of it. So
the Western society is making it a bit more common.
Yeah, it's trying to, the Western society, trying to make it seem as if it's normal, seem as if it's part of your life.
MashaAllah.
Just like April Fools,
Yeah, just like April Fools. So next year don't.
Next year don't be doing April Fools.
Don't take your
that the Islamic view, some might say, in defense of lying, that say the Islamic view is a bit too strict, but we can say that the Western society has made it so it's strict, especially to the audience as well.
That's why you see it's as if you're contradicting
common thing.
As in the holidays, like April Fools and all these, the Western made it so it's so common that it's completely okay to lie.
When we say Islam is a lifestyle, we can use the fact that we shouldn't lie in school, when you're at work, when you go in to the shops, when you go in Tesco or something like that. So
when Islam says that you're not allowed to lie even in a joke. I know we lie in jokes all the time, such as sarcasm, which is really bad. I'm saying on my behalf that I should be learning from my own words also, but that doesn't mean I should be telling other people and teaching other people. And what the point I want to make is that it's so common, they made a public holiday about it. And you know, the reason why Islam emphasizes and shows that lying is so bad is because, you know, if you're a trustworthy person and you never lie, you can convert and inspire so many people.
Yeah, relationship is built on trust, and with a person being a common liar, it's hard to build up on that.
How could you be friends with someone who you know might lie sometimes? And they will always have doubts about you. But for example, someone makes a false allegation against a person who always tells the truth, then the person will automatically take that false allegation away.
Yeah, but we all know that you can't go a day without lying, as you know, because it's so common nowadays. You don't see, I mean, you can't see any day that you don't see anyone lying.
It's kind of like it's a disease of the heart. Once you start, you know, it's like
cancer. It's a cancer.
It's cancer.
One lie creates a web, as in one lie leads to it's like a chain reaction,
like the snowball effect.
Yeah, like a snowball effect. It's like one lie can build up another lie. To hide that lie, you say another lie, and you need more and more stories.
And that's why the quote comes, "Truth is harsh."
Yeah, definitely. Why should the truth be harsh? It should be the other way around. That lying is harsh. And when you find out
lying is so common that the truth
is
so unbelievable nowadays.
Yeah,
and sometimes So, Brother Haziq, what are the consequences in this world of lying?
Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. First, I would like to start with the hadith from Imam Ali alayhi salam. The biggest consequences of a liar is that even his truth is classed as a lie. And this can be related to the story of our childhood stories about the boy who cried wolf.
The boy who cried wolf.
The person that cried the lies over and over again.
Before you move on, it's a bit ironic, isn't it, that the boy who cried wolf was originated in the West, and nowadays the West are sort of promoting lying.
This ideology.
Ideology of white lies and this kind of stuff.
Yeah, it's common, it's a joke, it's fine, but it's not. A liar can be perceived, if it's classed as a liar, even his truth is denied as a liar. So if you are labelled as a liar, then your life will be very difficult for you, as with your relationships with your friends, families.
If you can you please retell the story about the boy who cried wolf? It probably bring back a lot of memories for a lot of people, such as myself.
Well, I don't know the story fully but I'm pretty sure all you guys know back home. I would like to continue with the answer, which basically means that constant lying is if you label a liar and your truth is denied. And the other thing is, lying weakens the iman. And another beautiful hadith from our Prophet about falsehood is, ask your heart for what's false or true, and let others say whatever they want to. It's like a bit of poetry right here.
MashaAllah.
We're just building up on the same thing, that falsehood is like it takes you away from the truth, and Islam is about the truth and learning the truth. And if you're indulged in lying, you'll be far away from the truth, and it'll stop you from becoming a pious person. As if you look at Islamic history itself, many people have lied in battlefields to win cunningly, and this has caused many problems on its own in terms of Islamic history.
Basically, lying does not lead to anything good.
Yeah, if you think it's the best way out, but it's not, because once you get caught in
they might obviously you might say it might lead something good in this world, but certainly in the afterlife, I don't think is
just like
good can come off lying.
Just like they say, you succeed in the hereafter, you succeed in this world. But if you succeed in this world, you might not succeed in the hereafter.
Sahih, Hassan. I would like to finish off with the hadith from Imam Ali from Nahj al-Balagha 786. Cast aside lying, for it opposes faith. A truthful person is on the verge of salvation and dignity, whereas a liar is on the point of falling down and humiliation.
MashaAllah.
So, Brother Ja'far, what does the Quran say
about lies? Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Inna Allahu la yahdi man huwa kadhibun kaffar. Surely God guides not him who is a liar, disbeliever. Now, to reiterate what the Quran said, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala won't guide the person who is a liar. Now, depending on what your age is, for us personally, we've got examinations, we've got driving license, all this kind of stuff. These kinds of stuff, I mean, if Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is not willing to guide you, how are you going to succeed in life? And He might help you in this life, but as you said, in the hereafter, there's no help.
Yeah,
Obviously.
the question is, what are we without Allah?
Yeah, definitely. A lot of lies that as our age does that we do at our age is like, for example, getting into wrong places. For example, if you're on the bus, is a common example. You might use a false ticket, or use a bus pass that is expired, because the bus drivers sometimes they don't look. I've seen it myself that the bus drivers don't look sometimes.
Yeah.
But then that period of time that you have spent on the bus is haram basically. Even though you might not see him, you might not feel it. If you think about it after doing such an act, or if you're thinking about it right now, you're in a place that you haven't gained permission to go. For example, if someone came to your house and went inside your house without your permission, it's like the same thing. So that's
People
a
just don't
common.
see it as that big.
Lying is so common here, it's classed as lightly. It is referred to as lightly. It's like, it doesn't matter if it's a lie. I'll say as a joke, but it's not. It builds up your, weakens your iman over and over again, and without truth, what are we without truth?
Remember, when you commit a lie against a person, for example, if I lied to you, Brother WAFIQ, and it didn't harm you in any way, people might say, oh, I don't need to tell him the truth because it didn't harm you. But in the hereafter, my Brother WAFIQ will find out by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala on the Day of Judgment that Zaygam lied about this. How do I know that he is going to be not affected by that, or he will say like, oh, he lied to me, I'm not going to forgive him, because he has the right of not to forgive me and can take all my good deeds away.
It's not one of the signs of a mu'min at the end of the day, and kind of building upon that, taqiyya gets involved, and taqiyya is concealing the truth because of fear from an oppressor. So when you're in risk of being oppressed, or you're trying to save someone's life of being from an oppressor, taqiyya gets involved. There's this story about a man, I think he went to Imam Ja'far al-Sadiq, as I remember. He said, can a mu'min kill or murder? He said, yes, he may. The guy asked him, he said, can he do zina? He said, under some circumstances he may. And he said, but would a mu'min lie? He said, no, a mu'min wouldn't lie, because iman and lying wouldn't exist in the same heart. Because iman is belief and lying is the opposite.
MashaAllah. Now that's the scale of how bad lying is. As we said before as well, it's so common nowadays. But you don't understand that lying sometimes, as you said, is worse than murder sometimes. And it can, whatever you say can...
it can create conflicts between your own brothers.
As Imam Ali said, the tongue is like a lion. If it is set loose, it will kill.
But it needs to be tamed. Especially in the Western society, we refer to gossiping. It's mainly for girls, but obviously I don't know the flavor. Well, obviously we all gossip in different ways, different fashions, but especially in the schools and colleges. A lie can go far. A simple lie can take it so far that someone gets hurt and someone feels violated in their own order.
You might not know someone's getting hurt, but once you make that spot.
Speaking of gossiping as well, people tend to lie. One of the reasons why they tend to lie is to bring other people down for their sake. For example, if they're a bit jealous of that person, they would lie about them to others, maybe because they have certain amount of popularity compared to the other person, just to bring their hierarchy down compared to themselves.
If you look at the society at the moment in the West, you would recognize a lot of suicides, especially at our age, under 16, around that age, between 12 to 20,
down to lying,
which is around college time, high school time. If you're in America, your education system, if you're in high school, middle school. Now, why are the youth committing suicide? What's gone wrong in their life? They have education, they have health benefits, alhamdulillah if they do. Obviously we know some people who don't, even in the West. But if they do, why are they doing such things? It's because of such lies, such rumors that are tearing them apart in when they go home or when they're in their own bedroom, and they have no one to refer to, because even if they tell their mom or their dad, what are they going to do? If they tell their teachers, they might sort it out, but because lying is such a big issue, it's been affected, and sometimes the fire is too much, even the water can't take it away.
It's like false propaganda. You can have it in a small scale, you can have it in a large scale. But if you choose to use it for your own advantage, for you to basically boost your own self-esteem and to create conflict between each other, which basically in the hereafter, what's your soul going to be?
False propaganda, big issue. What causes a lot of things, a lot of genocides, such as Hitler. He did false propaganda. He convinced so many people to go against the Jews because of lies. Even though that's why we say don't start from small lies, because when it becomes a habit, you never know, you might become a dictator or a person who does false propaganda.
It causes depression within the teens itself. Like, if I lie about you behind your back, the hadith that says lying behind people's backs like eating their own flesh. I don't know.
Yeah, backbiting behind. If you backbite about someone, it is like you're eating your own brother's flesh on the Day of Judgment.
So what we need to do is just keep reminding the youth that you have Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to go to. Now that doesn't mean to have the intention of lying and then to ask forgiveness at the end, because that's not what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala won't forgive you in that case. Although He is very forgiving, if you have the intention to hurt someone and you do it on purpose to hurt him, to lie about him or her or whatever, to bring his morale down or whatever, to bring his confidence, whatever, and ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for forgiveness.
Some people like twist their words. I mean, they lie in a way that they can say, oh, I didn't mean this. They can twist the thing. It's the same thing. I mean, if in your intention, if it's a lie.
And false promises comes into the category of lying as well. Making false promises to a certain brother or sister, saying I might do this tomorrow, might do that.
Swearing by the Quran, for example.
Swearing by the Quran as well. It's become so common that we swear by Allah, swear by Quran. Is used as
the word of borrowing or trust, this kind of stuff. The biggest trust is when you lend someone something. And it's because of this trust. Same as lying. I have actually read that Imam Sajjad, when he was talking about giving imanat, when you give promises, it's like you're giving your word and iman. What's it called?
Amana.
Yeah, imana. When you give amana, and what he said about is that if Shimr was to let me borrow the sword that he killed my father Imam Hussein with, and he asked for that sword back, I wouldn't hesitate and give it back to him straight away. That's how important trust is, and imana and everything. And such as false promises, it's the same. It's the same thing as borrowing something or giving someone your word, and that's how important it is not to break such promises.
Trust is what creates friendship, and there's a hadith from Imam Ali which talks about friends are one soul divided in two bodies. Something like that. I'm not sure where to read, but if you break the trust between your friend, it's like breaking a soul in half. And it's basically a root to all evil. People say money is a root to all evil, but lies create all evil. Even with Shaitan about Hazrat Adam alayhi salam, where he was whispering in his ear false things, and which led him to disobey Allah. And same way, lying leads to all different kind of sins, like backbiting, gossiping. All these sins are created by lies.
Trust me, would you rather live a life with would you not rather live a life where you don't have any guilt inside you, any regrets of lying to a person? Because even Yazid, even the worst of human beings, Yazid, if nobody knows, he killed Imam Hussein and he caused the tragedy of Karbala. Even he had little guilt towards the end, and now he probably would have lived with the tragedy of Karbala his whole life, that he caused it, and he's now damned in hell. Now you don't want to live a life of 40-50 years in this world and to lose the hereafter as well with such guilt.
But we're not going to say that.
So just remind us, the youth as well, Brother Zahim, what are the punishments of the grave of lying?
Now I have to break it to you guys that at the end of the day, at the end of the year, at the end of your life, basically, you're going to go to the grave. Inshallah, hopefully we'll all be buried and have, because we know Imam Hussein, he wasn't buried until a few days after, astaghfirullah. But hopefully we have to go into our graves, and we have to face such struggles. Now, to minimize the struggles, we have to have less sins. It's just simple. It's not rocket science.
It's a hard thing, like what you say. It's pretty hard not to lie.
We're not saying, just to make clear, we're not saying all of you are sinners and all of you go in hell.
Yeah, exactly.
What we're saying is try to cut down on the lying and
restrict yourself.
And after every day when you're praying your Maghrib or your Isha, which I'm sure we should all pray, but sometimes you see the youth nowadays will move on to that.
Now I'm probably going to pull out some hardcore Islamic stuff, but it's only to emphasize that why should we lie? And this is, I'm pointing one finger towards you and a thumb back at me. So this is four fingers back at me, then one you, because I need to learn as well. It says here, lying is one of the greatest sins. Tradition from Holy Prophet ﷺ, he declares that, beware, I inform you regarding the greatest of all mortal sins, associating anything with Allah is disobeying parents and lying. And a similar tradition has been quoted from Imam Hassan al-Askari, who says, if all the evils have been locked in one room, the key to the door is lying. So basically he's saying that lies cause everything, just like we were talking about false propaganda and false promises. And now, if you've read about what's going to happen in the grave, that you're going to be tested by angels. Now it says here, angels curse the liars. So you don't want to be tested from a person who's cursing you constantly. The angel will probably look for the time, if you lie all the time, to judge you and to question you for each lie and try to find the truth out of you. Because for each lie you'll be questioned, and your time in the grave will be longer as well. It says here, Prophet of Islam in another tradition has said that when a believer utters a lie without a valid excuse, he is cursed by 70,000 angels.
No, 70,000.
70,000 angels. There are two angels here who are, difficult enough writing everything down. Imagine 70,000 angels cursing you.
Brother Hazza, can you, name all the 70,000 angels?
Of course I can name them, but we don't have enough time.
Yeah, there you go, another lie. There's another lie.
An example of lying, we're just showing you.
Another example of trying to, save your own face.
Yeah. There's like a fine line. I mean,
As you said about Prophet Muhammad, when he said with a valid excuse, can you give any examples of a valid excuse if you want to lie?
Now, my brother Jafar, he mentioned one, taqiyya. We know a lot of brothers and sisters who do taqiyya because,
just the risk and danger.
Dangers. Now, there are several other cases. For example, even you can drink alcohol or, do things that you're not allowed to do in Islam when it comes to your own life. Life and death situations is probably the best answer I can give, but you have to look into it more often.
Because it doesn't mean, taqiyya, you can't just use taqiyya in any sort of context.
Yeah, but what if it is to save another mu'min's life? For example, if he's in danger.
That's what we said.
It's difficult, you should refer to the higher levels of thoughts by the scholars who have more knowledge about this, because for example, we know a lot of mu'mins, what's it called? Misam ibn Tammar, when he was killed, he could have lied and saved his own life, but no, he stayed with Imam Ali and he stayed there. But it's different. There's different cases, so you have to refer to.
In that case, you can just say like a burglar or something. He went Tesco's, got a few drinks, and then got away, and the police caught him, and he wants to save his own life, by lying.
No, that's wrong. You can't do that.
That's the wrong way.
In that context, it's not right.
Just to remind the audience that this program is live, and after the break we're going to have some poetry session, and I'm going to reveal the question of the week in which you can call and answer, and also you are free to call to read your nasheeds and your nohas or your poems or whatever, and inshallah we will see you after the break.